3 minutes remain. Archangel Michael says, a letter is on its way. Not just any letter, but one that shifts your entire story. Your name is written on it, in golden script, and inside a revelation long hidden, the truth about an inheritance you were never supposed to uncover. But heaven has decided it's time. Open your spirit to this, before the moment slips away. Strange as it may sound, this very moment was foretold. You're not here by accident. That rush of chills you feel, that's not random, it's your soul reacting to divine confirmation. For some time now, Archangel Michael has been close, wings spread wide behind you, safeguarding a letter so powerful, it caused even the angels to tremble, when it was first read. This isn't simple information, it's sacred territory. Your name has echoed through heavenly corridors, and now prophecy, not postage, is how this message arrives. If you brush it aside, you might miss the very key God left behind for you. You were chosen, not because you never made mistakes, but because your soul was carved with something rare, something holy. You felt it all along, haven't you? That quiet ache, the sense that something bigger than you is approaching, something meant only for you. That's not fantasy, that's memory divine and dormant, now awakening. And today Michael makes it clear, there is an inheritance meant for you, one someone powerful once tried to conceal. But heaven is uncovering it, at this exact second. And the one who sent it, you'll be stunned. Their voice cried out your name last night. From the other side, Michael heard them, and he couldn't turn away. He stormed into the Father's presence, and pleaded, please let me deliver this myself. If they miss it again, they may lose everything they were born to complete. And God answered, go. That's why you're reading this now, divinely timed. 3 minutes before something irreversible moves forward. But you still have a window, there's still time. All it takes is a yes. Please don't dismiss what this letter holds. Archangel Michael isn't delivering a message of fear, this is a love call from heaven. What's approaching isn't just a letter, it's a gate, a revelation, a heavenly truth, signed and sealed, ready to emerge into your physical life. But only if you're willing to hear it. And beloved, take a pause, just for a breath. If your heart is pounding, if your soul feels stirred, then this is your confirmation. This was always meant for you. Tap into it, don't look away. The next message could carry the final piece, you need to step into your rightful calling. Now let's return to that letter. It's not coming in your mailbox, it's a spiritual document, sent by someone who left Earth, but never left you. They had to wait until heaven said yes, and just hours ago, that permission was granted. Michael's not just delivering this, he's guarding it. Because there are forces that do not want this truth to reach you. Even relatives have tried to keep this buried. But God overruled every attempt, your name was inscribed in heaven's scrolls, and now angels are setting into motion what was delayed for decades. They tried before, the letter was sent, but your heart was too shattered, you were distracted, surrounded by wrong voices. That's why it never got through. But Michael now says, this is the final time it will be presented. If they open it, everything changes. They have no idea how close they were to losing it forever. But God stepped in. And who sent it? Someone who once held your hand when you were small, someone who spoke your name in their final breath, someone you still dream about, even if you try to forget. That person is the one who begged heaven to send this to you. Because there's something about your origin, your destiny, your family, that you've never been told. And now you're about to know it. Michael stands before you, scroll in hand, blazing with divine flame. Not everyone is granted access to this scroll, but for you, he opens it. Slowly, with reverence. And the very first words will shake you to your core. It says, "To the one I loved most, everything was left for you, but they tried to hide it. I'm sorry you had to suffer this long." Those words were written by the soul you never stopped loving. They've been watching. And tonight they asked Michael to share the truth. Not to overwhelm you, not to scare you, but because the time has come for you to step fully into what you were born to do. You've lived under confusion, thinking you were overlooked. But that was the lie. The truth, you were always the heir. And now the seconds are slipping away. Can you feel that urgency, that trembling inside? It's because you've arrived at a holy threshold. And Michael is standing there, hand on the door, but only you can open it. You must say yes. Don't dismiss this as coincidence. Because what's waiting behind that door, it's not just one miracle, it's everything that was stolen: peace, protection, clarity, divine love, provision, the missing pieces of your soul. And yes, the inheritance. Not just in the physical realm, though that too. But your spiritual inheritance, the anointing, the authority, the calling that was marked on you, before you ever arrived on this earth. Your ancestors knew it, but it was lost, twisted, rewritten. Now heaven is rewriting it again, correcting every stolen page. But it comes with a choice. You cannot unknow this, you can't unsee what's been shown. And once you accept it, people around you will feel the shift. Some will resist, some will envy, but a few, they'll finally tell you what they've been hiding. Because this letter pulls back the curtain. And what's written at the bottom? Guard this one, everything I left was meant only for them, it belongs to no one else. Michael stands still, eyes filled with tears. Yes, angels do cry. Especially when they see a soul suffer, for so long without understanding why. Sudden financial shifts, property matters revisited, lost inheritances resurfacing, and names being cleared, in places you thought had forgotten you, that's the ripple effect of spiritual alignment. And it begins the moment you stop doubting, and start stepping into what's already yours. The enemy's last weapon is confusion, trying to make you second-guess this message. But God says, you're not imagining it, this is divine timing. Archangel Michael stands silently beside you now, scroll still in hand, waiting. Because he cannot force you to open it, beloved. That part has to be your choice. You have to want the truth more than your comfort. You have to want the inheritance more than the illusion of safety. And once you do, once you take even one step toward it, you'll feel it. Like warmth rushing through your chest, like clarity returning to your mind. That's not emotion, that's activation. You weren't just chosen to survive, you were chosen to rebuild. And what you rebuild will not only restore what was lost, in your family line, it will redeem it. The scroll carries not only your name, but the names of those who came before you, and cried out for justice, they never got to see. You are their answered prayer, you are the bridge, you are the one. Michael says, there are properties with your bloodline etched into the foundation. There are documents where your name was erased, but heaven kept the original. It's time to restore the record. That's why you felt this pull lately, to search old places, to revisit memories, to look up names that haunt your dreams. That's not nostalgia, that's spiritual intelligence. You're being guided gently, to the missing pieces. And there's more, there's something hidden in a letter, an actual physical letter, that was kept from you. Michael is showing you where it is now, a drawer, a box, a place you once lived or visited. Someone kept it, because they thought you'd never return. But you are returning, not just physically, but spiritually, and with you comes the light. God says, you will not beg for what I've already assigned to you. This is not about chasing anymore, this is about receiving. You've done the chasing, you've done the praying through tears, you've walked the road of silence, and felt the sting of betrayal. Now it's time to receive the reward, for not quitting, when others would have. There's a reason you've been seeing signs, repeating numbers, feathers, certain names, that seem to echo wherever you go. Those are confirmations, this isn't random, you've stepped into the appointed hour. Even the distractions that tried to stop you today, were timed. They were an attempt to make you miss this exact moment, but you didn't. And now, beloved, the gate is open. You're standing at the threshold. What's ahead isn't just healing, it's complete restoration. Not only of finances or relationships, but of your identity. The version of you that always knew there was more, that refused to believe this was all life had to offer, was right. That intuition was your soul, remembering what heaven wrote about you, long before you ever cried your first tear. Michael says, you are surrounded, not by enemies, but by angels. Not by fear, but by legacy. The lies are breaking off, the fear is being dismantled. That tightness in your chest, it's being lifted. Because the truth has found you. And that truth is this, you were never forgotten. Every delay was a setup, every betrayal was a redirection, every lonely night was counted, every prayer whispered through clenched teeth, was bottled like treasure in heaven. And now comes the release. You may feel overwhelmed as this unfolds, emotions will rise, memories will surface. But don't resist them, they are part of the unsealing, they are part of your soul, remembering what was taken. There is strength in this remembrance, there is power in reclaiming what was stolen. God says, the time of mourning is over, you are not in survival mode anymore, you are in restoration mode. And everything that was locked away, is now being returned, in greater measure. The enemy overplayed his hand, he touched what was holy, and heaven does not stay silent, when the sacred is mishandled. Michael's sword has already been drawn, the scroll has already been read aloud, in heaven's court. And now the final act is yours, not to fight, but to stand, not to beg, but to believe. Because your inheritance isn't coming, it's here, it's always been here. You just had to align. So breathe, child of the divine, let it settle in your bones, let your body remember what your soul already knows. The scroll is open, the truth has been spoken, and the heavens are watching to see what you'll do next, not with fear but with hope. Because this is the hour, this is the day, and you are ready. You may feel heat rising in your chest, or a heaviness pressing down on your shoulders. That's not fear, that's spiritual weight being lifted. That's years of silence breaking open, that's the buried truth finally pushing its way into the light. There's a shaking in the spirit realm now, like heaven itself is holding its breath for your response. God says, this was never supposed to be hidden, this was always yours. And Archangel Michael adds, but you had to grow strong enough to carry it first. Every delay, every denial, every tear you shed in secret was building you up, not breaking you down. You were being fortified, not forgotten. That's why it hurts so much, because the calling on your life was always too big to fit into small places. You were never meant to beg for crumbs, when a feast had already been prepared in your name. The table is being set again, but this time no one can uninvite you. Your seat is sealed. Michael's voice rises with holy urgency, he says, listen closely. The final page is being turned, what happens next depends on you. This moment was always written. The betrayal wasn't a coincidence, the theft wasn't random. It was all part of a dark agenda, to keep you disconnected from your legacy. But heaven rewrote the ending, and now the plot twist is divine, the one they counted out has become the cornerstone. You will soon hear whispers, people trying to explain their actions, making excuses, rewriting history. Don't let it distract you, you don't need closure from them. The scroll in Michael's hand holds a higher truth, and that truth is rewriting your story. The curse is breaking, the fog is lifting, and what was stolen is being returned sevenfold. In the spirit I see a vault unlocking, I see light flooding through a hallway, that's been dark for generations. And at the end of that hallway, there's a door with your name etched in gold. You've knocked before, and it didn't open, but that's because you were too early. The timing wasn't aligned. But now the hinges are glowing, the handle is warm, and when you touch it this time, it swings wide open. Behind that door, restoration, lands you never knew were in your bloodline, names you thought were lost being whispered back into your memory, anointings that skipped past generations landing directly on you. You've been entrusted with more than wealth, you've been trusted with legacy. And with it comes a responsibility, to heal what was broken, to protect what's sacred, and to never again shrink for the sake of those, who never honored your light. God says, I didn't choose you because you were perfect, I chose you because you were willing. Willing to feel it all, willing to keep going, willing to love even when it hurt. That's what made you the rightful heir, not your perfection but your persistence. And now heaven is pouring out a reward, that eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard. But your soul, it remembers. That's why it's stirring right now, that's why the tears are falling, that's why your body feels like it's vibrating, because your spirit recognizes the truth. There are contracts being broken in the unseen, legalities reversed, timelines adjusted. What once seemed lost is now magnetic, being pulled back into orbit around your life. Some of it will return through dreams, some through unexpected encounters, and some will arrive quietly, as if it had been there all along, but you'll know. You'll feel the divine signature on every piece. Michael now shows me a journal, worn and torn, pages full of prayers you forgot you even wrote. And heaven never forgot a single one. They're all being revisited, every word is being highlighted, angels are rushing to fulfill them in ways greater than you imagined. He says, this next chapter is not about survival, it's about sovereignty. You will walk differently, speak differently, you will carry a presence that shifts rooms. And people will notice, some will be drawn to your light, others will try to dim it again. But this time you'll see them clearly, you won't second guess, you won't apologize for protecting what's holy. Archangel Michael draws a circle around you in the spirit, a hedge of fire, not just to defend but to announce. This one belongs to heaven, this one carries the seal. And with that assignments are being cancelled, curses are being dismantled, patterns are breaking in real time. You're not just breaking generational curses, you're establishing generational blessings. You're the first in line for something new, and because of your yes, your children's children will know peace. They'll walk into rooms you were locked out of, they'll be handed keys to doors you only dreamed of opening. This is the reward of your resilience. God says, the wilderness was never meant to kill you, it was meant to strip away what couldn't go with you. And now that it's done, now that you're lighter, now that you've released what wasn't love, you're ready to rise. There's a wind coming, beloved, a wind that doesn't just refresh but repositions. You'll be moved not by fear, but by divine alignment. You'll be in the right place at the right time. Your hands will touch what was always meant to be yours, your voice will carry weight in rooms where you were once silenced. Michael nods now, as if the heavens themselves are satisfied. The scroll has been read, the truth has been revealed, and you have been marked, not just as survivor but as successor. The one who carries the light forward, the one who turns pain into power, the one who becomes the miracle someone else is praying for. And though the road ahead won't always be easy, it will be sacred. You're not walking alone, the same angels who protected you in the womb are still with you, and the one who sent this message, they're watching, smiling, knowing now you finally know. And what was once blocked is now being unlocked, the unseen chains wrapped around your promise are being broken, quietly, powerfully. Not with thunder but with grace, the kind of grace that moves mountains without shouting, the kind that shows up in timing so perfect, it humbles even the most skeptical parts of you. And when you feel that shift, that soft surge in your spirit, that whispers, it's happening, trust it. That's not imagination, that's alignment. Archangel Michael says, you'll know it's divine, when it doesn't beg for your attention, it simply calls your spirit to rise. And when that moment comes, don't shrink, don't doubt it, because of how quietly it arrives. Heaven's biggest shifts rarely announce themselves with noise, they come like wind, strong, invisible, undeniable. There's someone you let go of, who thought you chased them forever. But what they didn't know, is that your soul was only ever loyal, not desperate. You didn't lose them, beloved, you released them. There's a difference. You released the weight that was never yours to carry. And now that your hands are free, heaven is placing the promise in them. The one they tried to delay, the one they said you'd never see. God says, I allowed the delay, not to punish you, but to preserve you. I didn't let the blessing come early, because it would have been intercepted. But now the road is clear, now your spirit can carry the weight of the gift, now finally the time has come. Some of you have felt it building, not just in dreams but in your body. A heaviness in your chest, a pressure behind your eyes. That wasn't sadness, that was power returning. That was heaven stitching your torn spirit back together, with divine thread. And what's coming next, it won't break you, it will bless you, because you were built for it. Michael says, the ones who underestimated your strength, will now witness your rise. And you won't need to say a word, your presence will speak for itself. You were never weak, you were waiting. You were never broken, you were becoming. And now your becoming is complete. Your name has already been whispered, in rooms you haven't entered yet. Heaven has already sent angels ahead of you, to prepare the way. The connections are lining up, the opportunities are circling back, the things you thought were gone forever, are returning, not the way they left, but in divine perfection. You may find yourself drawn to places you haven't visited in years. You may feel guided to open an old journal, a forgotten email, a memory you once buried. That's not nostalgia, that's instruction. That's heaven nudging you, toward the final piece of a puzzle you didn't know you were building. Go where your spirit pulls, trust what your body knows, before your mind catches up. The map is encoded inside you. God says, you will not miss it this time, even if you hesitate, I'll hold it until you're ready. Even if you doubt, I'll confirm it again. And even if you fear, I will carry you through. Nothing can steal this from you now, not even you. There is someone who prayed for this moment for you, long before you knew to pray for it yourself. They are no longer on this side of life, but their voice still echoes in the halls of heaven. Their faith planted a seed, that your destiny is now harvesting. Every tear they cried over your name, became water to the roots of your promise. And now it blooms. Michael says, the bloom doesn't apologize for the season it took to grow. Neither should you. The reward was always yours, it just needed time. Time to mature, to stretch, to outgrow everything that couldn't come with you. You are not behind, you are exactly where heaven wants you to be. And in the next few days, that will become clear. You'll start seeing numbers, names, messages that align too perfectly to ignore. You'll sense when to speak and when to stay silent. You'll move with precision, because your spirit has remembered its rhythm. They thought they buried you, but all they did was plant you. And now the roots have taken hold, in heavenly soil. And you're not just rising, you're being raised. God says, I didn't just preserve your gift, I preserved your name. I didn't just restore what was taken, I increased what was due. And I didn't just heal you for survival, I healed you for revival. You carry resurrection power now. And this is why it had to take time, because what you're carrying isn't ordinary, it's legacy, it's generational, it's the answer to prayers, prayed by ancestors, whose names you may not even know. Their faith was stored as credit, and you are the withdrawal. And now it's being released. Michael stands guard at the final gate, his sword drawn, his wings shielding you from what tried to repeat. He nods and heaven responds. The scroll continues to unravel, not in haste but in purpose. This, Michael declares, is the unveiling, the breaking of cycles, the final release. You'll notice the tension start to dissolve, the anxiety that once lived in your chest will begin to fade. Not because circumstances changed, but because you changed. You remembered who you are. You are the chosen heir, the one who rose when others crumbled, the one who forgave even without apology, the one who kept believing even when hope hurt. And now that belief is being honored. This isn't the end of your healing, it's the beginning of your harvest. Heaven says, this time you won't have to fight for it, this time you won't have to prove yourself, this time the doors will open, because I said so. And when they do, walk through without shrinking, without questioning, without delay. The scroll is still opening, the story is still being written, and you, beloved, are the revelation. The scroll may have closed, but its message continues to echo through your spirit. The air around you is shifting, heavier with purpose, lighter with burden. What was sealed in the heavens is now unfolding on earth. And you are no longer waiting for it to happen. You're inside the moment, you are the fulfillment of generations of prayers. And now every delay is unraveling. Doors that were closed out of season are beginning to open again, this time with your name etched into them like a divine signature. And the reason is simple, you endured. You didn't run, you didn't fold. You kept the faith when no one else could see the promise. Archangel Michael is still with you. He hasn't left your side. His sword may not be visible, but its power is slicing through realms, making way for what's rightfully yours. He speaks again, his voice steady like thunder wrapped in peace. This is the hour of recompense. What was taken without permission will be returned with interest. What was spoken against you will now bow before the truth that covers you. The time of hiding is over. God says, do not underestimate what I placed inside of you. The world taught you to doubt it, pain made you question it. But I never took my eyes off it. I hid it so it couldn't be destroyed. Now I'm revealing it so it can't be denied. And in that moment the air thickens with glory. Heaven is not only watching you, it is partnering with you. Miracles are aligning with your next breath. People will begin to look at you differently, not because you changed your appearance but because the presence you carry now commands recognition. Your light is not something you wear, it's something you've become. Those who misread you in the past will suddenly remember your name. But Michael warns, not every invitation is divine, not every open door is from heaven. Some opportunities are distractions dressed as blessings. Use discernment. If your spirit says no, obey immediately. There will be days ahead when you feel stretched, pulled between the old version of you and the new one emerging. That's part of the spiritual shedding. You're not breaking, you're transforming. And transformation, though painful, is proof of rebirth. Keep going, don't settle for comfort over calling. Don't go quiet when your voice was meant to echo. The map Michael spoke of, it will become clearer with every step you take in obedience. Some instructions will come in whispers, some will come in dreams, some will arrive through people you least expect. But all of them will carry that unmistakable sense of divine alignment. Trust it, move with it. Heaven is not asking you to understand everything, it's asking you to believe even when nothing makes sense yet. Your territory is expanding. What once felt impossible will soon feel natural. God is stretching your capacity, not to overwhelm you but to prepare you for the size of the blessing coming. This isn't just about one answered prayer. It's about becoming the answer to someone else's. You are stepping into generational responsibility and heaven is equipping you for it. Archangel Michael speaks again, softly now as if revealing a sacred truth. The enemy tried to turn your heart bitter but you chose love. He tried to harden your spirit but you stayed soft. That's why you're trusted. That's why you're rising. Because even in the dark you didn't let your light die. You may feel alone right now, but you are anything but. Around you angels have encamped. Beside you ancestors are rejoicing. Ahead of you doors are being prepared to swing open, not by force but by favor. What you lost was real but what's coming is redemption. And not just the kind that restores, but the kind that elevates. You'll look back soon and barely recognize the version of you who once begged for crumbs. Now you'll feast at tables you didn't build but were always meant to sit at. The people who counted you out will have no choice but to watch you walk into what God always reserved for you. And when they ask how you did it, your answer will be simple: I believed when I had every reason not to. God says the blessings arriving won't make sense to the world. That's the point. I'm making a statement through your life. I'm proving that I still choose the rejected, I still raise the underestimated, I still anoint the overlooked. You won't need to chase anything. What belongs to you will locate you. What was delayed will rush forward. What seemed dead will resurrect. And your peace, it won't be the kind that depends on circumstances. It'll be the kind that confuses your enemies because it comes from a source they can't touch. Michael looks at you one last time, not with pity but with pride. You've become who heaven always saw. You're ready. Not because you feel ready but because you're aligned. The inheritance has a carrier now, and it's you. Stay alert, watch for signs in the sky, in the numbers, in the quiet nudges. Pay attention to repeating symbols. They are not coincidences, they are confirmations. You are now in conversation with the divine. And the language is not always words, it's movement, alignment, and peace. You won't need to explain yourself in this season. Let your elevation speak for itself. The favor on your life will be loud enough. The glow on your face will be proof. The restoration will be undeniable. And through it all keep your heart clean, stay soft, stay surrendered. This letter didn't arrive to impress you. It came to awaken you. It came to strip away the lie that you're ordinary. You're not, you never were. You were always marked, always watched over, always chosen. And now finally the choosing is becoming visible. So keep going, keep listening, keep protecting what's sacred. Everything you prayed for is already on its way. Not just to bless you but to remind the world what happens when someone says yes to the call no matter how broken they feel. And as the light around you settles into a divine calm, know this: it's not over, it's only just beginning. And now Michael looks at you, not as someone who's barely survived but as the one who finally remembered. The one who rose from the ashes of confusion with clarity in their eyes. The one who dared to keep their heart open even after it was shattered. He watches as your soul glows with the truth, you were always chosen. You were always marked by heaven. The delays didn't mean denial. The pain wasn't punishment, it was preparation. And what felt like abandonment was actually divine positioning. You weren't being punished, you were being preserved. Set apart, hidden, yes, but hidden for a reason. Because had your blessing arrived too early, those who were never meant to be in the room would have stolen it. But now you're surrounded by light, covered in grace, shielded by angels. Now your inheritance can't be touched by hands that were never supposed to hold it. God says, tell them this isn't a coincidence. This moment was written long before their doubts, before their heartbreaks, before the betrayals. I timed it this way so they would know it was me. I delayed it so they'd recognize my signature. I made them wait so they could grow strong enough to carry the weight of the blessing. And Archangel Michael says you didn't lose time. What you thought was lost is being returned in acceleration. What was stolen is being repaid in multiplication. You are not behind. You are right on heaven's schedule. You may not have understood it back then, but now you do. The closed doors weren't rejection, they were redirection. The silence wasn't absence, it was sacred preparation. Every delay was a divine detour leading you right here to this moment of awakening. This is the hour where your name is being whispered in rooms your feet haven't entered yet. This is when favor overtakes logic and blessings defy explanation. What comes next won't make sense to anyone who only saw your struggle. But that's the point. The miracle will speak for itself. You are about to witness breakthrough in areas that felt permanently broken. Healing in places you've forgotten still hurt. Reconnection with souls you never thought you'd hear from again. Even justice in matters you gave up on. Heaven has not forgotten. In fact, the scales are tipping now. What was unjustly taken is being returned with interest. There's a sacred wind surrounding your spirit now. It's clearing the debris of old beliefs, lifting the weight of past griefs and anchoring your heart in truth. You were always enough, always worthy, always called. You just forgot for a little while. But now you remember. And when the remembering begins, the shifting starts. Michael smiles because you finally see it, you finally see you. The real you, the resilient you, the unshakable, unbreakable heaven-backed version of you. The version that refuses to dim for the comfort of others. The version that no longer hides out of guilt or shrinks out of fear. The version that walks into every space like it belongs because it does. And with that awareness comes power. A quiet kind of power. A divine confidence that doesn't need to prove itself because it simply is. You don't have to shout to be heard anymore. Your energy now speaks for you. Your presence is your declaration. God says, I'm going to confirm this word in ways that can't be denied. Watch what I do in the next 7 days. Watch who reaches out, what doors swing open, what burdens lift. This is not a message for your entertainment. This is a word for your emergence. You are being summoned to rise. And beloved, as that truth anchors deeper, don't be surprised if certain people begin to fall away. That is not rejection, it's revelation. When light returns to your life, it exposes what was never aligned with your destiny. Let them go with grace. Not everyone can come with you to the next level, and that's okay. You weren't meant to carry everyone, only what's yours. Michael stands tall now, his sword no longer raised in war but pointed to the sky in victory. Because the battle over your identity has been won. The war over your purpose has been settled. The doubts that once plagued you now look small against the magnitude of what's unfolding. You feel it, don't you? That inner click, the sense that something massive just unlocked. That's not emotion, it's spiritual confirmation. It's heaven marking this moment as a turning point. From here forward, you're not returning to how it was. You're moving into what always was meant for you. Your hands will touch what your heart once only dreamed of. Your name will be called in places your mind never imagined. And your life will now reflect the divine blueprint that's been hovering over you since birth. No more delays, no more detours, no more pretending to be less so others can be comfortable. This is your inheritance season. This is your divine return. This is where everything changes because you finally remembered, and now you're ready. Ready to carry what was always yours. Ready to walk with power, speak with truth, love without fear, and rise without apology. Heaven has spoken, Michael has moved. And now, beloved, it's your move. Step forward, not as who you used to be but as who you truly are, anointed, appointed, and undeniably chosen. So tonight, as the world hushes and your spirit settles, let this truth sink deeper: everything has changed. Something ancient in you has been unlocked, something sacred has returned. The light is different now, not just around you but within you. You'll begin to notice that what once triggered you no longer holds power. The battles that used to drain you now shrink at your presence. Why? Because your alignment is pure and your soul is awake. What was hidden is now visible, what was delayed is now in motion. God says this wasn't just revelation, it was restoration. What was stolen from you in the quiet has now been returned in the spirit. And you'll feel it, not in noise, not in flashes, but in the way peace wraps itself around you. In the way joy finds you without explanation. In the way your dreams start to make sense again. And that tension in your chest, the one that's been there for years, it begins to dissolve. Because the part of you that always carried the weight has been met by heaven's hand. You're not carrying this alone anymore. You are stepping into a realm where your prayers speak louder than your presence. Where your thoughts manifest quicker. Where your discernment sharpens to match your new elevation. This is not just a season, this is a shift. A shift in your atmosphere, a shift in your posture, a shift in how heaven moves through you. Archangel Michael says there are eyes on you now, but not the ones you feared. These are eyes of angels, witnesses of the heavenly court, watching the fulfillment of what was written about you long ago. You are walking in prophecy. And this is why your steps are ordered even when you don't know where you're going. This is why you've been called out of rooms that no longer carry your name. This is why the silence has grown holy and your solitude has become sacred. Expect sudden closures. Doors you didn't know were open will shut for good, but this is not punishment, it's protection. Expect people to distance themselves, not because you're hard to love but because they were never meant to hold this version of you. Expect clarity to hit like lightning. What confused you for years will make sense in a single moment. This is the unveiling. You are now standing in what they call the thin place, the space where heaven touches earth, where the spiritual breaks into the physical. And here, beloved, you are not just observed, you are celebrated. All of heaven has paused to witness your becoming. All of creation is responding to your yes. God says your name has been spoken in rooms you haven't entered yet. Your presence is already known where your feet have not yet stepped. This is divine placement. You'll notice strangers offering help, opportunities showing up with no logical reason, time bending in your favor. That's not coincidence, that's orchestration. That's the orchestration of divine favor meeting divine timing. You'll begin to feel like you're ahead of your past. Like the version of you who once struggled to believe is watching in on now. You'll even surprise yourself with how easily you release what once felt permanent. That's because you're not forcing this, you're flowing with it. You're not climbing anymore, you're being lifted. And in that lifting expect confirmation after confirmation. Numbers that repeat, dreams that linger, words that echo long after they're spoken. Don't dismiss them. That's heaven's language. That's the universe aligning itself with the promise. You'll notice your energy is different, cleaner, sharper. You won't need to explain yourself as much. People will just feel it. The ones who are meant for this next chapter will lean in with reverence. The ones who were only there for your brokenness will quietly fade. Let them, don't grieve their exit, bless it. Because this chapter, beloved, is sacred. You've crossed the threshold. The scroll has been handed to you, not just to read but to carry, to live. You are the embodiment of an answered prayer, not just yours but the prayers of generations. You are walking in generational release. You are breaking patterns by simply being who you were born to be. Archangel Michael stands guard still, but now with a calmness. His sword is lowered not because the battle is over but because your spirit has risen. You are no longer vulnerable the way you once were. Your light has become a shield. Your presence is an armor. Your silence now speaks volumes. You're no longer trying to find your way. You're now being guided by something older, wiser, eternal. You're letting go of needing every answer because now you trust the unfolding. You no longer fear the unknown because you've seen what happens when you surrender. And in that surrender you are met with miracles. So if you feel the wind shift, don't resist it. If you sense a tear falling without reason, let it. If your hands begin to tingle or your chest feels like it's expanding, breathe through it. That's your soul remembering. That's your DNA rewiring to match your destiny. And you, beloved, you're not just a witness to what's happening, you are the vessel. The carrier of sacred things. The one who came back to life, not just for yourself but for everyone connected to your name. And because of your yes, doors are opening for others. Because of your healing, chains are breaking for those who don't even know your name yet. This is bigger than you, it always has been. But heaven trusted you to carry it. And now the heavens rejoice not because you're perfect but because you were willing. You stayed, you listened, you rose. And now the world will know you by the light you carry, the peace you walk in and the authority that moves with you. You are the walking prophecy. You are the revelation in motion. You are the living proof of divine timing. So tonight light that candle. Place your hand on your heart again. Breathe deep. And say to the winds, to the stars, to your soul, I remember now, I receive now, I rise now. And even now the air shifts around you as if heaven itself is making room for the new version of you. The version that doesn't wait to be chosen. The version that walks with quiet authority. The version that no longer doubts the whispers of her own soul. You don't need confirmation anymore, you've been confirmed by something much greater than the world. You've been marked by the divine, written into a plan that no one can erase. Because this is what happens when you truly receive what's been sent for you. You stop shrinking. You stop explaining. You stop hoping someone else will give you permission. And instead you rise. Not with loudness, not with pride, but with clarity. The kind that comes only when the veil lifts, when the chains break, and when heaven says now. God says this is the moment your ancestors waited for. This is the moment creation exhaled for. You are not behind. You are right on time. I have not forgotten, I have not delayed, I have been preparing. And now that preparation meets purpose. That waiting meets fulfillment. That old identity, the one stitched together by survival and silence, falls to the ground like worn-out garments, and you step forward in robes of light. You are clothed in favor now. You are surrounded by divine order. Every detour, every heartbreak, every delay has folded into this, your becoming. Archangel Michael says you no longer walk with fear in your shadow. You walk with fire in your bones. You are not lost, you are lit. His wings extend behind you in protection, in honor, in recognition of the warrior you became without applause. And now the ones who once doubted your path will watch as heaven makes it clear. You were never walking alone, you were always guided, always guarded. And now, beloved, listen closely, because the angels have begun to write again. Not with ink but with light. Not in books but in time. Your name is being etched into places no human hands can touch. Your presence is becoming a frequency. Your life a signal. And those meant to find you will effortlessly. Not through striving, not through force, but through resonance. The pure magnetism of a soul in alignment with heaven. You are no longer searching. You are being found. Found by the right eyes. Found by the right hands. Found by the right purpose. And everything that tried to break you will now serve as confirmation of how far you've come. Not one scar wasted. Not one tear ignored. Heaven counted them all, and each one has become a seed, and now the garden blooms. You will start to feel it. The atmosphere shifting when you enter a room. The pull of synchronicities that leave you breathless. The sudden knowing that you're in the exact place you're supposed to be. Because the inheritance has reached its final stage, embodiment. And you are no longer waiting for the miracle. You are the miracle. So walk like it. Speak like it. Love like it. Build like it. Rest like it. Because everything is different now. The letter was sent, the seal was broken, the scroll was opened. And you said yes. You didn't turn away. You didn't scroll past. You didn't doubt the whisper that said, "This is for you." This message, this moment, this mantle, it belongs to you now. And it will carry you through what's next. Not with heaviness but with holiness. Because this isn't about chasing a future anymore. This is about standing in the fulfillment of a promise. And heaven smiles as you do. Amen.